Around 30 years ago, my friend Sarah and I decided to embark on a nostalgic camping trip in a remote forest to disconnect from our fast-paced lives. We settled on staying in a rustic cabin called Whispering Pines Retreat, located deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. The place was known for its breathtaking natural beauty and tranquility, making it an ideal spot to escape the noise and chaos of the city. The cabin was owned by an elderly couple, the Harringtons, who had been maintaining it for decades. They were known in the region for their hospitality and warm nature. We arrived at the cabin just before sunset and were greeted by the kind-hearted couple. They welcomed us with open arms and shared stories of the area's history and the many happy memories they had with previous guests. As the night fell, we settled into the cozy cabin, feeling grateful for the peaceful ambience. We had brought along some board games and snacks to keep ourselves entertained. The Harringtons had provided us with a hamper full of delicious homemade treats and fresh vegetables from their garden, adding a personal touch to our experience. On the first night, we played board games, laughed and reminisced about our childhood days. The sound of the crickets outside and the gentle rustling of the leaves created a soothing atmosphere. It seemed like the perfect getaway we had envisioned. However, as the clock struck midnight, strange things began to occur. We started hearing faint whispers and footsteps outside the cabin, although we were certain there was no one else around for miles. At first, we brushed it off, attributing it to the sounds of the forest at night. But as the night progressed, the whispers grew louder and more distinct, causing us unease. Sarah and I exchanged nervous glances, trying to rationalize the eerie occurrences. We decided to stay awake for a while longer, hoping the noises would eventually subside. Suddenly, the cabin's lights flickered, and an icy breeze swept through the room, making us shiver. The atmosphere became charged with an inexplicable energy, and a sense of foreboding enveloped us. Despite our apprehension, we couldn't bring ourselves to leave, as the darkness outside was far more frightening than the mysterious events within. Just when we were about to call it a night and attempt to sleep, we heard a soft knock on the cabin door. Our hearts raced and Sarah asked in a shaky voice, "Who's there?" But there was no response. Only more whispers carried by the wind. Unable to ignore the knock any longer, Sarah gathered the courage to open the door. To our surprise, there was no one there. Instead, we found a tattered and faded photograph of a young couple lying on the doorstep. The eerie sensation intensified as we noticed the resemblance between the couple in the picture and the elderly Harringtons who owned the cabin. Feeling unnerved, we decided to show them the photograph in the morning, hoping they could shed some light on the mysterious events. The rest of the night passed in anxiety and restlessness as we struggled to find an explanation for the inexplicable occurrences. At dawn, we showed the photograph to the Harringtons, who looked at it with tears in their eyes. They explained that the picture was of them taken during their younger days, around the time they first started managing the cabin. They shared a story that had long been kept secret from guests, afraid that it might deter people from coming to their beloved Whispering Pines retreat. Many years ago, on a stormy night much like the one we had experienced, a tragic accident had occurred near the cabin. A young couple, deeply in love, had sought refuge from the rain but met an unfortunate fate when a tree fell on their car, ending their lives prematurely. The Harringtons had tried their best to save them, but their efforts were in vain. Ever since that incident, the spirits of the ill-fated couple were said to haunt the area, seeking peace and closure. The Harringtons believed that the spirits had grown fond of the cabin, considering it a place of solace and love. They had hoped that the presence of new guests would help bring peace to the restless souls. Overwhelmed by the revelation, Sarah and I couldn't help but feel compassion for the lingering spirits. We spent the remaining days of our camping trip embracing the presence of the departed couple, acknowledging their existence, and expressing our heartfelt condolences. As we left Whispering Pines Retreat, we felt a mix of emotions: gratitude for the warm memories we had created, and sadness for the tragedy that had forever marked the place. The experience had taught us that sometimes, even in the midst of the most serene surroundings, there could be stories of pain and loss, waiting to be heard and understood. From that day forward, we carried the memory of the Whispering Pines with us, cherishing the beauty of nature while respecting the spirits that might wander among us, seeking solace and closure.